Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. A very happy and healthy day to you. Today, we're going to have some fun with your career, talking all about it. Welcome to Pure Pollino. My name is Michelle Pollino. With me on Tuesdays, my favorite Libra companion, Rachel Lang.
Hello, Michelle.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Haven't seen you since last week. So
I know.
what's going on?
Just
Living life?
living life.
Living large? Did you travel at all this week?
I didn't travel. No.
Okay.
But we had a pretty powerful full moon this weekend.
We did.
Very, very intense. That Scorpio Taurus full moon.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting day. Lots of, with the Scorpio full moon, I feel like it's time when people get really deep in their relationships. They get really deep personally, and I felt like it was a good manifestation weekend.
Yeah, I thought so too. I actually wrote a blog about it, and I talked about, when you have a full moon, it's a great time to balance those energies of the signs of the full moon. It's that amazing depth of Scorpio, that power of transformation, change, and growth, and the luxurious Taurus loving sensual pleasures of life, food, nice things. It was a good weekend to find that balance.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, did you have a good weekend?
I did. I'm trying to think of what I did. It's always a whirlwind. You know what I mean? It's always a whirlwind. I'm like, did I do anything special? I don't know.
Every day is special for
Every
you.
day is special. Today's very special. It's a moon in Gemini.
It is.
And both of us have that.
Which actually, it's interesting because when the moon comes back to the same place it was at the time of your birth, it starts a lunar cycle. And so it's kind of like a new moon. Anytime the moon comes back to where your moon is.
Yeah.
So anytime the moon's in Gemini, you and I start
talking.
A lunar cycle. yeah, we talk.
When the moon, yes, we do, and it's pretty neat. Everybody has this. Everybody has a different moon, and it's kind of great. It was my Thursday show. We had Suzanne going on. This chef from AOC. She's got like 7 restaurants. I found out she was a Libra, which I thought was really interesting. When I look at her, I see Scorpio too. Do you see that?
I could totally see it. Yes.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
I think her husband's a Scorpio. I'm not sure. But I have a surprise for you.
Oh, you do?
I do have a surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's something that I just found out the other day. Our numbers.
Oh.
They doubled.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Doubled.
Wow.
Within a month.
Wow.
I know. I know. Yay! Booyah!
Oh, wow. I'm so grateful.
My favorite Pam
that's
Grier.
so great.
Yeah.
So they doubled.
They doubled. And my biggest fear was, it was new in September, and you're like, oh, okay, everybody's tuning in to find out what it is, and then, they're going to go. But no, they stayed, and more came. I have no idea where they're coming from, but I'm so grateful. We're grateful.
We're so grateful.
And thank you so much for listening. I just wanted to say thank you. And I love Elena. And they will triple. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Thank you.
So, we're just grateful to it all. And just being here and being able to connect with people. It's just been a dream. And one of the things that this full moon also brought about, and I saw it in a lot of astrological websites that I read, it was all about what do you really want to be when you grow up? Again, striking the balance of, that Scorpio passion and that Taurus love of luxury.
And practicality.
Too.
So it's finding a bridge between those two things. Because
Right.
a lot of times what you're passionate about, the world tells you it's not realistic.
Right.
Especially if you're doing something creative. If you're wanting to be a filmmaker or an actor or a singer or an astrologer or something that the world says there's no way you can make a living at this, there's always I think that full moon, that Taurus and that Scorpio energy allows you to find a way to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
How to make your dreams real.
Yeah, that's great. And that was in my blog too. So that's really, and that's why I think today we also really wanted to take a look at careers. Like really, honestly, did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I knew exactly what I
You
wanted
did?
to be.
Of course you did.
I did. I knew exactly. I didn't think I would be an astrologer, but I wanted to be a writer and an actor, and that was it. From the time I was 7 years old, I would write books and write stories and poetry.
Poetry.
And,
I was just gonna say is the next thing. Libras and their poetry.
Yeah. What did you want to be?
You know what? I had no idea.
Really?
At first I wanted to be a vet. And then I'm trying to think after that. I never could wrap my head around being like an actor or a singer, or because it all seems so impractical to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was because I just lived a very hectic childhood where, it was like, oh, where are we moving now to? You know what I mean? I don't know if it just, everything seemed out of reach. So I was going for the more practical stuff like vet. I wanted to be a vet, and then I wanted to be a therapist. So to me, I wanted, but the truth is, my energy was always boundless. Yeah. So I could never sit still enough in school I did well in school, but it never was like, I can't see me going to more than 4 years of college. Forget about it. I just couldn't sit still enough. It's hard enough to keep me in this seat. So, yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting, your first career choices, because when I look at your chart, I see you have the 6th house, and we're going to talk about this a little bit today. And anyone listening, you can follow along. You can go to astro.com, pull up your chart, and you can find out where some of these influences are in your own personal chart. And if you have any questions, please chat, please call, please let us know. So looking at your chart, Michelle, the 6th house is ruled by Taurus. And so 6th house is work. Yeah. And day-to-day responsibilities. And so for you, Taurus, as we talked about, is a very practical sign. And so, so that
and that's why, that's why I always was like, it has to be practical. Yeah. I can't be a singer. I can't be an actor. Yeah. I can't be this direct. I can never and that's really, and there was nobody to coax me. Mm-hmm. There was just nobody there. It just was a fact of life. So I just kind of, played with my toys. I had a magic kit when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Aw, that's so cute.
And I ran away when I was a kid. I can't remember what age it was, and I brought that magic kit with me because, I don't know, I wanted to.
Well, that North Node in the 8th house.
Yeah.
That you knew where you were going. You were meant to explore things beyond the tangible,
beyond the
tangential world, the tangential reality.
Is that what we're doing now?
I think so.
That's what I do with a lot of people.
Yeah, well, and psychology and astrology, both of those things tap into unseen forces.
And I think the food, the sensuality of Taurus.
That's the Taurus, yes.
And that's what I wrote in my blog. I think I tap into both those sides of my personality. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting how those are the two things that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm going to tell you what we have. We're going to have a special guest in studio. Special guest, writer-director Darren Stein joins us. And we take a look at Darren's chart. He's done a lot of great stuff, Jailbreakers, Sparkler, and a brand new film, GBF, which is just phenomenal. It's going to be out on VOD, and it's going to be released in theaters in January. We're going to look at Darren's chart and see what made him make the choices he did. Is it in his chart that he should be a writer-director? We're going to find that out. And then after Darren, we're going to open up the phone lines, and we're going to take all your chat room questions, and we're going to find out really what it is that you should be doing in this lifetime. What career makes you sing? Hopefully not like Michelle Pollino, but sing like the bird that you are. We're going to be also taking a look at, we're going to do some shorthand for you right now. Go to astro.com, pull up your chart. We're going to look at the 10th. These, like last week with money, we looked at the 2nd house. This week, we're going to be looking at the 10th house, right? Which rules career and career success. Mm-hmm. The 6th house, which rules work,
daily responsibilities.
And daily responsibilities, the rulers of those houses. Like with me, you would think I'm a wild woman, but because Taurus rules my 6th house of work, I'm actually pretty practical.
And Virgo rules your 10th house.
Practical.
And Virgo and Taurus are both earth signs, very practical.
Right. And we'll also take a look at, of course, the nodes and our destiny, and of course the second house, which is money.
Second house is money.
So
and how you earn your money. It's not money that you're inheriting or
Right.
winning or anything like that. It's money you make through the work that you do.
That's correct. And you could have like a stacked 10th house, but an empty second house. I'm sorry.
You're going to be working and striving
and striving. You might be really successful in the eyes of people, but you might not make a lot of money at it.
And a lot of it is if you're sitting there and you're looking at your second house and it's empty, don't worry, because you can also tell a lot about the second house by the sign that's on that cusp. So if your second house is empty but it's ruled by Jupiter and you've got a very favorable Jupiter, then you're fine. So don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. We're here to ease your fears.
Ease your astrological concerns.
There it is. So coming up next, Darren Stein. We'll talk about his new movie, and we'll talk about his chart, and then we'll go into your careers right here on Pure Pollino. Stay with us.
We are experts at video production. We have crews in over 100 cities and the finest editors in the world. It's fun to create your videos, and that's what we love doing. We're good at that. But the most important thing is, how do you use those videos? How do you leverage your video investment? We provide all the platforms to do that. Website design, social media, SEO, PR, and television. And all of those components do a dance that work in tandem with each other for a comprehensive marketing campaign that really helps grow your business.
Should I wear these?
Yeah. Okay, we are back. Welcome to Pure Pollino. My name's Michelle Pollino. Today we're talking astrology, and we have one of my favorite writer-directors in studio with us, Darren Stein. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Hi, Darren. So good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
Pull the microphone closer to him. There you go. Okay, and there you are. Nice job. So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about Darren. If you don't know him, I will tell you all about Darren. Darren Stein picked up a video camera at age 10, and he has not stopped since. After NYU Film School, his first feature, Sparkler, premiered at the Hamptons Film Festival, and it kind of set your aesthetic, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. From there, he made Jawbreakers, which...
It's actually Jawbreaker, no S.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker. And that's now becoming a Broadway musical, correct?
Well, it's becoming a musical for the stage. Not sure if
got
Broadway,
you.
but it's exciting. We're talking about starting the first production in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I'm so excited, and we'll get into all that. After Jawbreaker, which premiered at Sundance and became an instant classic, and it also launched the careers of several actresses, Rose McGowan being one of them.
Judy Greer,
right?
Julie Benz.
Oh my gosh, I got goosebumps just when you said that. Look at that. But yeah, it did. It is. It's a great film. Rent it today. Stein was also executive producer of a film that I love, Wild Tigers I Have Known by Cam Archer. Mm-hmm. That's a spectacular film.
Yeah, his short film played in front of my documentary, Put the Camera on Me, which was
right.
And that's how I met him. Loved his work.
And now your latest film is the George Northy penned GBF, which is an acronym for Gay Best Friend. A hilarious film that looks at what happens after the very cute Tanner is outed by his classmates and becomes the favorite gay best friend for 3 high school queen bees. It's funny, witty, charming, and sends an amazing message of acceptance and love, not for who you love, but for who you are. It's a great film. So I'm really excited that you're here with us today.
I'm excited to be here.
And wait, so
and tonight's the premiere of the movie.
Yes, please tell us.
So exciting.
So tell us.
Where?
It's at the Chinese Theater, the Chinese Six, and it's thrown by DirecTV, who's sort of releasing the film. We're having a VOD exclusive on DirecTV November 22nd. It will only be available on VOD on DirecTV for a month, and then it'll be in theaters January 17th.
Right.
In select cities, as well as all the other VOD platforms.
Do you know any of the cities right now we can give shout-outs?
I think it's LA, New York. I think Seattle.
Okay.
San Francisco, Austin.
Okay, Austin. We have listeners in Austin. We have listeners in Philadelphia.
I think Miami, perhaps Atlanta.
Miami and Atlanta. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll post it on my Facebook page, and of course we're going to give everybody all the places they can follow you, and of course GBF. So first of all, well, I love GBF. I'm actually one of the executive producers, and that's I met Darren a while back, and I read that script and I fell in love with it. And I was on the phone with Darren in minutes, and I was like, oh my God. I couldn't put it down. And it was one of those films that really, it moved on the page. So you knew if it got into the right hands, it's going to really explode. So
I remember when I read it, I was like, I just have to do these words justice. I thought the bar was already set so high just from the script.
You know what's interesting, and we'll get into his chart in a minute, because George, I know, is a Sagittarius, and you have so much Sagittarius in your chart, and it's in your house of work, which is so amazing to me. When I do these charts, it always amazes me when I'm just like, oh my God, it's right there in red, white, and blue.
You see so many connections.
So many connections.
Yeah, and it makes you believe and realize that there are no accidents and no coincidences. That everything is linked. We're also interconnected. So.
And when I look at his chart, it's so clear to me. So let's talk. Like, Darren, you always wanted to be a writer-director. Is that...
Yeah, I was raised in Hollywood. My father's parents started a film laboratory in Hollywood back in the 60s. So I've been raised around film my entire life. And it was my dad, and it was our bond, was going to the movies.
That's
you know,
sweet.
I was raised in Encino, so I always wanted to go to Hollywood or Westwood, to the big movie houses, and
Right.
just wait in line, go opening night. It was a whole sort of spectacle and this thing. And so I got my hands on a video camera at an early age because my dad always had all the new gadgets because he was in that business. And he said, don't use this camera. It's only for Dad. And, of course, I got my hands on it. And actually, my first films, I had him shoot because he wouldn't let me actually operate the camera. So he actually, shot them. And then I guess when I got to be around 10 or 11, 12, I sort of started using it myself.
Wow, that's pretty great. And so you always kind of knew what you really wanted to do, and you were always encouraged by your parents. And
yeah, well, at first my mom was like, well, you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor. That was sort of the big hope and dream, but that didn't quite happen.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, have you ever gotten your chart read?
A while, a couple times, but not recently.
No?
Not
Okay.
recently.
Well, we're going to go to town.
Cool.
You ready to go
We
to town?
are.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Well, the first thing that I noticed, besides being that he's a Cancer rising. So, Steven Spielberg, you have a 6th house sun and a Cancer rising. Steven Spielberg has the same aspect. It's a very good aspect for making your dream emotions, making the emotions practical and making them vivid. And it's a very when you have that sun in the 6th house and that Cancer rising, it's about working with your emotions.
And the 6th house sun is also very driven, very determined, and so much of your identity and your personal.
It's all about work.
You define yourself by the work that you do.
Yeah, wait.
And-
Relationships, work,
Yeah. And especially because your sun's in Capricorn, and a Capricorn is very goal oriented and very driven anyway. And actually you have a lot of cardinal energy in your chart, which Cancer's a cardinal sign, your moon's in Aries, Aries is a cardinal sign, Capricorn's a cardinal sign, and that cardinal energy is all about creation, bringing things to fruition, connecting with other people, initiating new projects, taking action.
The other thing he has, again, which it's the ruler of his ascendant, his rising sign's Cancer, is the moon. So I immediately go and I look. Remember what we talked about on our show? We talked about the astrological chart. It's just a big piece of yummy pie. It's a big pumpkin pie, and those pies represent houses. At the top of your chart is the 10th house of career. So when you have your rising sign Cancer, I go and look for where that moon is, because Cancer is ruled by moon, and I find it at the top of his chart in his 10th house of career, conjunct Mars. He's so driven.
And conjunct the midheaven, which is your career house cusp.
Right.
So the moon determines in your personal chart your needs. Like what kind of needs do you get? And so one of the, I would say, the core needs that you have, your reigning need is to make a difference and to do work that allows you to have some visibility, and I think it's not just for you, but it's because you have that Cancer rising. It's also you're looking at launching the careers of a lot of the people that you're working with.
You do.
And so it's all about success for the benefit of others, I would say.
Wild.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to add to that because did you talk about the North Node in Aquarius?
No,
because
I didn't.
that adds another dimension to it. It adds a humanitarian aspect. It adds an aspect of I have to do this for a greater cause. There's a greater cause that pushes you, and that's that North Node, that destiny, that North Node in Aquarius.
Right.
It's just, and again, the South Node is in Leo. You already got the dramatics. Like in the last life, you were probably an actor. You know what I mean? Because you already bring that to the stage. And so you bring that to the stage, and then this life, you want to take it to the next level, which is that Aquarian level. And that's where you get that aspect. It's
And we're in the age of Aquarius, right? So
we are.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Right. Can I say?
You
Can
say
I? Okay.
whatever you want. I'm going to take a sip of water.
So I happen to sort of progress your chart ahead a little bit, and I'm looking at some of the influences that you have for next year. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that your progressed moon is about to move into your 5th house. And a lot of times when this happens, there's like a new baby. Or there's, but not literally, not like, but like a new project.
A new project.
There's something new that you are putting yourself into, and it's all about your own personal expression. So, are you writing something right now, or are you doing something that's a little bit more personal?
Well, I'm looking for a new script to direct. I'm reading a lot of scripts right now. I have a script that I wrote myself that I have an actress attached to that I would love to make, but it's of course a bit more. The subject matter is a bit more challenging.
Talk to us about it. I mean, this is the venue to do that. This is
Well, the movie's called The Female Lead,
right?
And it's about a movie star and her transsexual son who wants to be her. So it's sort of like a Sunset Boulevard.
It's really cool.
I just got chills.
No, I've read the script.
Yeah,
it's really.
amazing.
That's why I'm asking.
The actress who wants to play the movie star is Chloe Sevigny.
Oh my
Wow!
God!
Wow!
That's,
Thank you.
oh my God!
Yeah, no, but she's been attached for several months, but now it's the sort of the challenge of finding the financing for it.
Right.
And of course,
that's the challenge.
My reps and my manager and agent are sort of like, it's a great script, but let's get you something more commercial. Let's get you a studio movie. I'm not feeling sort of like supported completely from people on it, but it's something I've been trying to make for a while, and if believe me, if the right financer came along, it would definitely be a priority for me as far as making it, especially since there's already a great actor attached.
Well, she is. She's fantastic, and I think it's a great script. I read it probably last year, so I don't know if it's changed much because sometimes when actresses come on board,
No, she loved
it from day one. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And she came through Natasha Lyonne, who was in GBF.
Right.
So it's sort of cool that how one person leads you to someone else.
Yeah. And Natasha, by the way, is Natasha Lyonne's all cardinal as well. So you guys have just a great relationship.
Yeah, I adore her.
She's a doll. She's I think she's I'm trying to think if she's
an Aries.
Aries with a Cancer moon. So
oh wow, which is great because you have an Aries moon Cancer rising.
Right.
So there's just like so much kismet right there.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
That's great.
She's pretty sweet.
So
and she's in GBF. GBF is I'm really. You guys, if you can't, you have to go see it, and you have to rent it right now.
It's a teen movie. It's sort of like in the style of a Clueless or a Mean Girls. So it's definitely the great thing I loved about the script is that it was a teen comedy that happened to have a gay protagonist.
Right.
It wasn't a gay movie about a gay issue. It was a teen comedy that sort of appeals to everybody. Where the gay kid it's his story, but it takes place in a world that everyone can relate to. It's not sort of a gay world or a sort of any kind of fringy kind of thing. So it's exciting.
What I really, George Northey wrote it, and he's a Sagittarius. And if you look at his chart, this is another aspect that I find in directors or even actors is the Neptune in the 5th house. It's a very creative aspect to have.
Right, or Neptune in the 10th house too. So
That's right.
It is usually musical ability or a career in theater or music, and a lot of times Neptune in the 1st house represents, this is for the people at home looking at their charts, Neptune in the first house a lot of times represents someone who's got a very chameleon-like face, who can do personas and different.
I wonder if
different
Jack
like impressions.
Nicholson has. I mean, the minute you said that, his face came into my mind.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you and George really connected. I mean, you guys really were very symbiotic. I mean, I was on set, and it was a very good team.
It was great, and I think it's so nice to be able. I also write, and as the writer, so many writers are sort of, once the director gets their hands on the script, they're sort of like, okay, thanks, you've done your job, now it's my movie. Yeah. But I think to me, filmmaking is about collaboration, especially if the director hasn't written the material. So I wanted George on the set to sort of be there and to give me his 2 cents, just like he was really open to my notes on the screenplay. So I think that we both felt safe and in a place where we could collaborate freely together.
I love that. I love the word that he used, safe, because it's such a Cancer rising thing.
It really is.
The rest of your 6th house, you want to look at because I just think that's amazing.
Well, I think, the writing, you can also see the writing in your chart pretty well, because, Mercury and Jupiter really indicate a lot about the career. And your Mercury and your Jupiter are both pretty close together in the sign of Sagittarius in the 6th house, which would give you a really sharp mind. So not only can you see the big picture, but you can also attend to all of the details, because Mercury in the 6th says that's what you do. You take the big picture and you make it manageable. And so I think that indicates for you a lot of just a really good of writing ability. And Jupiter is traditionally the planet that rules directing and publishing, and so Jupiter in the 6th house would also add a lot of strength to that ability for you.
Yeah, it's pretty much been written in the stars since you were born.
Yeah.
No, seriously, and it's really interesting how people choose careers.
Well, or they choose you.
Or they choose you.
Right.
This one chose you.
Yeah.
This one chose you.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And there was an ease and flow to it that I think Jupiter enabled it, because he has a 6th house that is ruled by Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. And to me, it was almost like this. There's an ease to it.
What does the 6th house represent again?
Work. It's work.
Okay, it's work. Okay.
And health.
And health. And yeah.
So you're very lucky, healthy.
And small animals, small pets.
I like small dogs. Hey, you know how you have a type, like with when you're dating. Well, you have a type with pets too. And my type of dog, it happens to be smaller. I'm not into hamsters or cats, but I like small dogs.
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
Not chihuahuas.
No. I like one chihuahua. His name is Pumpkin. I like Pumpkin.
Aww.
But yeah. I like Jack Russell Terriers.
I don't hate on chihuahuas. They're not my. I like scruffy, sort of scraggly pound dogs. But
yeah. So I know your dog recently. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nancy.
I'm sorry.
Away, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. He had a long life.
How old?
Oh, he was older. He was like 15 or 16.
Okay, good. Yeah, mine's like Lucy's 15, so I'm expecting it. And then you have at the bottom of your chart Pluto. And
kind of holding court,
absolutely.
saying you've got the grounding in your home life. It's probably really important for you to have, because Uranus is also in your 4th house, so there's some instability, like probably a lot of long times if you're directing away from home, and perhaps a lot of moves and rearranging of the house, and so Pluto in the 4th house. It sort of brings you back into balance and says this is actually something you really need.
It's probably why I'm always in a relationship.
That is definitely, yes.
Yeah.
That is definitely why. And also he has a Sun square Pluto square at exactly 2 degrees square his moon. So he needs that safety of that. It's very powerful for him. It's a very powerful feeling.
Right.
He needs to feel that support.
Yeah.
And I know you get it from your friends.
Yeah, no, I have my family, my friends.
Right.
I do like to be in a relationship because I feel like that's another form of support. But, having just gotten out of a 3.5-year relationship,
I know.
I'm ready to sort of like, I think it's just good to have some time to yourself too,
I took 5 years off. I think it's fantastic. to have some time off.
And look what you got.
I know. I hit the jackpot.
You did.
So let's talk.
Well, also, I think with regard to the breakup, you've got Pluto moving right through your 7th house. It's just starting to move through your 7th house, which is the house of relationships. And anytime Pluto starts to move, to change signs, it represents a 14-year cycle for you. And so I think any issues in relationships that have been challenging or have brought up issues of power and control and struggle in that area, I almost see this as being like a time when you had to have everything break down in order for you to build things up. You are getting ready to start a whole new chapter of your life. And you're going to be drawing in people into your life, into relationship, who are going where you're going. And so anyone who was where the relationship that you were in represents so much of the last 14 years. This is you're going to be drawing someone in, I think, who really is where is your future.
That's great. And it's interesting. I was just in Sao Paulo, Brazil for a film festival, and my ex, this guy that I was with in my 20s from 21 to 29, he lives in Sao Paulo with his Brazilian boyfriend. They've been together now for 12 years. And me and my ex Tommy, we haven't really talked. We haven't really been able to sort of move into that next friendship realm.
Right.
And so I finally was able to sort of like become friends with him in Brazil and like hang out with him and his new boyfriend. And I felt like there was finally like sort of closure to a relationship that ended when I was 29, which is 12 years ago.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and he also has Jupiter crossing his ascendant, and going into his 1st house, and that has been going back and forth for a while, and it will continue to do it through the next 4 months. So that's also really starting a new phase of growth. And that
has
first
to be
house
about you. Yeah, that the first
has
house,
to be about
Jupiter
you.
in the 1st house is your name, your face, your independent self, sort of having a new presence in the world. So, and then I think that after that, you're going to be ready. So taking this time alone will open you up for someone amazing.
Fantastic.
So tell us, we don't have any more time left, so I want to hear all about GBF. Again, where can people rent it? Because they can rent it right now, correct?
Well, it's having a DirecTV VOD exclusive for 1 month.
1 month.
You'll be able to get it exclusively on VOD, and it's kind of a great new business model because you can watch it in the comfort of your own home before it's theatrical. So it starts November 22nd, and then January 17th it'll be select cities and all the rest of the VOD platforms, like iTunes, Hulu, Netflix, etc., and then of course DVD and Blu-ray.
Right.
But yeah, we're also selling it internationally. So I know we get lots of inquiries from all over the world about the movie. So it's going to be released, all over the world.
That's great because we have fans in Italy and France.
Awesome.
So there you go. Ciao, Talia. So people can follow you at Darren Stein.
I'm at Darren Stein on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook.
Great.
And the movie is at GBF Movie.
At GBF Movie on Twitter.
On Twitter. And
Great.
there's also a Facebook page. And we have an IMDb page.
All right, awesome.
So it's all over the place.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time
Thank you
out.
so
for
much.
having me.
It was so good to
Seriously.
meet you.
It's a great timing with the opening tonight.
Yeah, opening tonight. And I'll
Yeah.
see you tonight.
Yes.
I'm so excited. All right, Darren Stein, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. Thanks for sharing yourself, your vulnerabilities, and your career, and all that stuff. And we wish you nothing but success.
Right back at you.
And we're just so really I'm proud to call you friend, and you're a genuine, awesome, talented guy.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to do your chart. Career, you want to know where you're going? We're going to tell you right here on Pure Pollino, so stay with us. I love that song.
Such a great song.
It's Ellie Goulding, and Anything Can Happen. It's actually in the GBF, on the GBF soundtrack, in the movie. And the soundtrack is fantastic. They should Google that soundtrack because it really is. It's fantastic. Tegan and Sarah, Closer, is in it. What, you love them? Of course you love them. They're Virgo. Of course you do. Of course you do. You have this freaking Virgo
I do.
thing.
I don't know what that's about. Well, I do actually know.
It's like me with cancers.
It is.
It's the same thing.
It is. When you have a type, when you have a good experience with a certain sign, it tends to color your experience of that sign.
Tends to color your world.
It does.
Yeah, I get it because I'm like that with Cancer. So today we are talking career. My name's Michelle Pollino. Welcome back to Pure Pollino. We just had Darren Stein on, writer-director Darren Stein, GBF, is doing a 1-month exclusive on VOD starting tonight, and then in January we will have a theatrical release. You have to go see the movie. It's fantastic, written by George Northey, and I'm just really excited about it. Rachel Lang, we're talking careers.
We are, and the 10th house,
and the 10th
sixth
house,
and the second house, and careers and astrology.
And the thing is about careers, I think there's always certain things that everybody's interested in. One is love. Everybody wants to know, am I going to meet that somebody special? Am I going to fall in love this year? Am I ever going to fall in love? Is this the one? Those are consistent.
Or if it's not the one, how am I going to get out of this? Should I leave it? Is there somebody for me on the other side?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
And then we have a career. Then we have career, and then we have money, and then we have health and family.
Yeah, and career I think is it encompasses what's my purpose,
right,
and and finances.
Right.
It's money. Career encompasses purpose, money, and fulfillment. I think.
Right.
Personal fulfillment.
And so with career, the first thing that you're going to look at in our little pie, in our lovely pumpkin pie, is the top of the pie. If you're looking down at a pie, you're going to see the top of that pie. It looks like 12 o'clock on a clock dial. That's called your career midpoint. And so what we do as astrologers... Midheaven. Sorry, the midpoint's different.
That's okay. That's okay.
And what we do is we look for planets that are making some significant aspect or are sitting in that house.
Mm-hmm. And what sign is on that house?
Cusp.
And I want to say too, a lot of people don't know their exact birth time, and in order to know what piece of the pie you're looking at, you have to know your birth time. But if you don't know your birth time, don't worry. You can still determine a lot about your career by looking at other factors in your chart, like your Mercury, your Jupiter. It's always best to have the birth time and to be able to pull up a chart so that you can see those house cusps. But if you don't have it, you can still learn a lot from just looking at the planets and the influences, the aspects between the planets.
So Sarah, our intern, who's been working her butt off, really, really wants to get this done. And there is no time like the present. So we've decided to take a look at Sarah's chart. And she has an amazing chart. She has Scorpio rising, which I actually have too as well. And she has a second house that is ruled by Jupiter. It's a second house, Sagittarius.
Second house is money. And when you have Jupiter that's on the second house, that usually means that you have the ability to really have a lot of luck in your career. And where is that luck? We look at where Jupiter is, and Jupiter's up in your 10th house.
So it's your 12 o'clock pie chart. It's a 12 o'clock pie.
So that gives you the ability to really achieve recognition in the career that you're doing, and also not only do you have the ability to achieve it, but there's a real drive to have a public career, one that puts you out in the spotlight. And that's also indicated by Pluto, which is that planet of mass media, sitting right on your ascendant. So it's basically giving you an empowered sense of presence in the world.
Wow, it gives me a relief because my dad, he was, he created like splints for medical devices, and he was a multimillionaire for a long time and then lost his money and all that kind of stuff. So money has always been like a very concerning factor for me, like, to have it, but then I'm afraid to lose it. Or
it's interesting because your North Node's in the second house.
Right.
So that's all about money. That's all about, in this lifetime, that's what your concern is. And it's gaining money, possessions, wealth, accumulating these things, self-worth.
And earning them, not by default, sort of inheriting.
Yeah.
So what is also in that house is Neptune, and it's conjunct Uranus, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have Uranus in the second house, it marks changes in the flow of your income. So a lot of times you see this in the charts of people who freelance or people who do film or something more creative,
Or sing.
Yes.
where they'll have a big a big amount
Windfall.
of money, a windfall at one time, and then it fluctuates. So then there might be a time when there's not as much money coming in, but you have the ability to really bring in a large amount of money sporadically. So that would indicate to me gigs, movies,
Sounds creative.
money that you're getting from certain projects.
And so
Wow.
we're looking at the 10th house. We're also looking
When
at
is
the
that going to happen? Can I have a timeline?
Yeah, we'll do the progressions later, but let's talk about the 6th house right now. The 6th house is hold your sun. Sun sign is in the 6th house. So again, like Darren, you're really about work in this lifetime.
Wow.
In this lifetime, that's gonna be one of your definite. It's your predominant nature. Is really your career is your predominant. It is.
It's always been
It
so
always-
independent.
Yeah.
So independent. I
Yeah.
mean, I left home at 18 to pursue, music from Florida, and I didn't have anything, so it was like no means, but I did it completely on my own because music and career has always been priority.
Priority one. That's sun in the 6th house.
And now it's even more of a priority.
Well, yeah, but now you're gonna. I mean, since the recent loss,
Yeah.
you're going to. It's going to manifest through your career. I mean, it's in many ways. Ace will definitely show up again and again and again in your music. So
One of the current things I did this last week, and I did a red carpet event for the typhoon victims. They did a Filipino American Association Film Festival, and they asked me to perform for it. And it was, I didn't want to do it because of all the passings, and I was kind of selfish about it. But then spiritually, I felt like, there's 10,000 people that just lost homes and entire families. And I'm looking at myself instead of looking at maybe I can contribute and use my potential losses as a way of helping these people that have nothing now.
that's really quite great.
So
And we
great.
raised definitely over a few $1,000s that night. So
That's wonderful.
One of the other things I'm looking at is their Saturn in the 3rd house. I know we didn't speak about this, but Saturn in the 3rd house, I find in a lot of charts and people where they're in the field of communications and mass media. Saturn's a sign of work, and it's usually I find a lot of people in the world where it's mass media, any form of communication, they have Saturn in the 3rd house.
But it's not easy. Yeah, I agree.
It's never easy.
So Saturn represents also where your challenges are.
Yeah.
And so for you, you might have at times questioned your ability to do things like school and homework and
not the best at
communication,
math.
writing. Yeah. But Saturn says this is your ideal, but it establishes this is one of your purposes, like what you're here to do.
Yeah, it's huge. I have Saturn in the 3rd house too, and I walked away from this arena a long time ago, but I came back.
So do you think this is a message for people that are fluctuating with money to not worry, like in terms of like somebody like myself, like who fluctuates with it, to not worry about?
Well, I say don't worry, be happy.
There you go. Yeah.
I say don't worry, be happy about everything.
Worry is just a misuse of imagination.
It is.
I do.
That's
It's
a fantastic way to look at it, Rachel.
If your imagination can go to the worst
Okay.
case scenario, it can also easily switch to the best case, and that opens up possibilities. And so it opens up the way for the law of attraction to bring
There
more
you
money
go.
into your life.
There you go. So don't worry, be happy. Know that we love you. All right, thank you. It looks like I'm getting the wrap-up sign that went quickly again. I have to say, today's show, thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. Darren, and you can, of course, follow Darren at Darren Stein, at GBF Movie on Twitter. You can follow Rachel at Rachel Lang 11 on Twitter. Sarah Jane.
It's Sarah Jane, ITSSARAHJANE.
Thank you. And today's show is always available for download anytime on iTunes and Stitcher. Video will be up later on today on YouTube. You can watch it. Follow me, Pure Pollino. on Facebook at /Pure Pollino, and again on Twitter at Pure Pollino.
And
Anything
also,
else?
yep, one other thing. I lead a meditation group
Oh,
in Hollywood
yo.
every third Wednesday of every month. And it's this Wednesday night at Neon Venus, 8 to 10 p.m. Find me on Twitter, and I can give you more information.
Donations?
Donations go to the LGBT Center for Homeless Youth.
Right. So
It's completely free.
it's completely free.
But we take donations for that cause.
It's all about
I wanna go.
it's all about holiday whining and dining this Thursday on Pure Pollino. So also become a fan, share it. Thank you for our growing family. To our growing family, we are forever grateful to the new sponsors. It's through you that we get to share our passions. Have a great Tuesday. Remember, it's not who you love, but how you love. So love deeply and honorably. Coming up next, Jerry Mathers, Leave It to Beaver on Dr. Marissa Pay. So stay with us.